You are looking live at the Nasdaq monthly chart. I just wanted to point out a couple of things here. First of all, the Nasdaq was up 928 points in the month of February, 6.12% advance with above average volume. And you can see here the bear market from 2022, the 11-month bear market. 38% peak to trough has just been pretty much wiped out. You can see the cup with handle pattern, and now we have ramped the last 4 months higher. So things are looking good on the NASDAQ. It could not take out that 16,212 yet. It closed at 16,091, but it seems inevitable at this point. Anyway, I'll go to the NASDAQ daily chart for you, and you can see that it's just starting to form this little shelf type pattern along that 16,000 level. So that is a bullish pattern here as it allows the moving averages to catch up. I've spoken many times about the pullbacks here after this breakout. We've just had these little mild pullbacks, which is very reminiscent of 2017, where it just did this all year long, and it very well could do it in 2024, but we've only had 2 months, so we're just getting started here. We're off to a very good year. On the index, I could go through a couple of things. I'm going to stretch out a little bit since I got some time today. It's been a very busy day. A lot of quality stocks doing well. I'm going to punch in some of the leaders here with the NASDAQ. Just for the month of February, there you can see the 6.12% gain. But some of the leaders that we have at MC stock charts, Supermicro has seemed to be a dead stock after it made this big run up. It was up 63.5% last month. Not a bad month. NVIDIA was up 28%. AMD, another leader, up nearly 15%. CrowdStrike, how did CrowdStrike do? 10%, not bad. I'm just doing this on the fly. I don't know what the heck. Broadcom was up 10%. So these are outperforming, right? Zscaler reported tonight was only up 2% for the month. So Spotify, another one of our leaders, up 19%. Meta Platforms, 25, 26%. So there's a lot of leading stocks performing well. Abercrombie and Fitch, 25%. ELF, one of my favorite, ELF, nice 30% month. NVO, only 4%, and it's been down the last 2 weeks. I think NVO is about ready to get a little boost next week. Lilly, and I could go on, but I won't. 20% Vertiv. Now I'm lying, right? I'm just keep going on and on. Wingstop. Yeah, so you can see that a lot of our leading stocks here are just having great months. In February. That doesn't mean they're buys at any point, but they are leading, so you want to get them on pullbacks. Anyway, enough of that shenanigans. I'm going to go to NVIDIA because when you saw the inflation data come out this morning, gosh, I want to say 6:30 my time, yeah, 8:30 on the East Coast. You could see that the NVIDIA, AMD, and SMCI, they all popped, immediately as soon as that data came out. And you could kind of tell it was going to be a good day for this large cap tech area. And NVIDIA certainly carried the day nicely, up nearly 2%. But it was AMD, its partner in crime here, that was really had a strong day, up 16 points, closed at 192. It's up after hours. There's a reason for that, I'm sure, with all these earnings reports coming out, which I'm going to get to in a minute. And then SMCI popped as well. I'm a little disappointed with SMCI. It was a nice bounce off the 10, but it ran up against 900. I was expecting it to blast through there, 890, and it just pulled back. So if you go to like a 5-minute chart, you can see the charge in the morning and then the retreat. So maybe tomorrow it'll have or next week, as we get into March, it'll start climbing back towards that 900 level once again. All right, enough of that nonsense. So those are some of the leading stocks. Those are stocks doing well. I've got to get to the drug stocks. The Viking did a secondary offering, which when it's pretty common when Biotech stock ramps 120 points and then tacks on another 11 2 days in a row. You know, they did a secondary. They announced it at $85. So you can see the big volume coming in here. It's a diluting the shares. This is a dilution, 95 million. I think they did 6 million, 6.5 million. And they did a 6.5 million of shares on the secondary. Today they did 27 million of volume. So we're going to see how quickly that the shares get eaten up. I don't think they're going to try to go it alone. They say they are. You know, they're raising $500 million, you know, $500 million to try to launch. But they have another readout coming here, you know, in a couple of weeks. So I don't know if it's going to be as good as the last one, and it certainly is not going to pop another 120 points. But they're just setting themselves up for a new drug application, and I guess try to go it alone, unless Merck or Pfizer are going to pony up and buy this thing, which I think they probably will pretty soon. TGTX had a nice earnings report. You know, these guys are doing what? This is a 16 million. This is 25 million. 140 million was from licensing, and then 44 million. So they're increasing their sales nicely. But it's not enough to scare the shorts out. Shorts are prevalent here, and they're very stubborn. It's going to take another quarter for TGTX to be profitable and have earnings, and you can see 2025 they're expected to earn 61 cents. So once this thing gets you know, rolling, the earnings and the sales growth are coming. The shorts are going to have to get out of here. So it's a matter of time. It's not if, it's when, and it might take a while. You're gonna have to be patient if you own that one, but TG Therapeutics is definitely coming with their multiple sclerosis drug, 44 million, and he guided to 220 to 260, which is pretty conservative. But anyway, it's just, if you're long this thing, it's going to take a little bit of time. AQST, Aquestive Therapeutics, this one was 30% above its 10 EMA today. Then it pulled back. It got up to what, 395, closed at 367. It's got a little ahead of itself. 30% above the 10 is a pretty hot stock. But anyway, a nice breakout above that 295, and it's had a really good week, up 42% this week. Yes, we'll take that every week. Oh, and somebody asked me about NBIX, and I misdiagnosed this one. This is so it fell hard. I guess that was with earnings, and it just started climbing back. And it took weeks and weeks and weeks to try to make up this drop, and that's kind of that's a bear wedge kind of action there. Now it's sliced. It's 50 today. It's down 3%, so that's not really a great setup there for NBIX. This is one of these biotech stock that has, you know, really strong fundamentals. You could see the sales and earnings growth, you know, but I don't know. I didn't research it that closely, and that's what happens when you do things at night and you get too many things on your plate. But you know, longer term, NBIX I think is going to be fine, but that's kind of a short-term play there on the bear wedge. You know, you come back in 6 months and it'll probably be $160 stock, but short term, you know, it's got sales and earnings growth. I really don't know why that thing sold off so hard. Anyway, that's it for the drug stocks, except for I lie one more time. Eli Lilly. When these things, so far, Eli Lilly is having an inside week. And I think that's double inside weeks here for Lilly, and it doesn't go down 3 weeks in a row very often. It did here in September, and so I'm thinking Eli Lilly's about done going down. The news from Viking really doesn't even affect Eli Lilly or Novo Nordisk. And Novo down another no, almost 3% this week, and it doesn't go down 3 weeks in a row very often either, as you could see here. So when was this? Yeah, September. So, you know, yeah, once every 5 months it goes down 3 weeks in a row. But you know, these are strong stocks. I would expect them, you know, to bounce off a moving average here. Maybe Novo, you know, below 120 there, bounces off the 21. Anyway, that's it for the drug stocks. Somebody asked me about some of these software names. One was Four, which got a bid from a couple of companies, which always scares me because when I get a spike on news that you know, somebody might be interested in buying it, I got to sell that rip, because I don't, first of all, I don't, once you hear M&A, talk, chatter, oftentimes it doesn't come to fruition, so, and then it's going up just on, rumors. And so that to me is, that's an aggressive sell point right there. Is at 87 yesterday, but I still like the stock. I was going to put this on our ready list this week because it was trading, tight near a buy point, but I had so many on my list and a lot of them have done well, but I missed this one. But if it does spike like that on a rumor, I think that's an aggressive sell for sure. Another one I was asked about was Eddie Van Halen, EVH. And whenever I get asked about a stock, you have to look at its past. Does it have the ability to move? Make a strong moves. And you can see here that it did make this, real nice move here in 2020, which a lot of stocks made nice moves in 2020. Then it just formed a nice base here and then moved again into 2021. Very nice flat, kind of a consolidation flat base pattern, and then ramped again. So this thing traded from what, $3 up to 34. I mean, this is a 10 bagger, right? 34.80 in what, a year and a half, and now it's just done nothing but go sideways for like 30 months. I mean, this is nothing. It's gone from 34 and then just traded in this little channel sideways, but it's shown the ability to make these moves. And so I'm thinking 30, months of consolidation, that it's time to go, right? Either you know, okay, here it is. The 33.71 is just, paint by numbers buy point. It has to trade above 34 here with some, it's got to move higher for me to get excited about this stock, but it's definitely set up. It's a good setup. And once it starts moving, I believe it can make another move like it did in the past. Especially, the saying, the longer the base, the higher in space. So this is definitely one for the watch list. And EVH, computer software medical group, a weak group, but it could definitely change at any day or any week or any month. So that's definitely one for the watch list. I put TOST down here because of 4. This one is near a buy point as well. I don't have it on our list. Maybe I'll put it on because not all the stocks, but many of our stocks have just gone higher and they're not buyable anymore. So this one's trying to emerge out of a stage 1 base, and it's really having a hard time. This thing has been consolidating forever and a day here. Man, that's a long time, 2 years of just going sideways. So it needs to break out as well. This group is strong, 8 out of 197, but TOST just can't get out of its own way. Pure Storage, I'm going here because I like Charlie Giancarlo and his group had a nice day today. 25% move with, that kind of volume. That's a move not to be ignored. Congratulations to the longs at Pure Storage. That's a real good, that's textbook breakout right there. You can see the consolidation and the pullback, which is the shakeout. And now the move higher this week, nearly 30%. So that Pure Storage move looks fantastic. I wanted to talk a little bit about Snow because Snow had a good earnings report, real strong. The sales, and earnings growth, 150%. You got triple-digit earnings growth and sales growth above 30%. Nothing wrong there, but the guide was lower because the CEO stepped down and they want to make the new CEO look good in his first earnings report. So they guided lower so they can crush the numbers. It's a pretty common game they're playing here. And you could see that it just pulled back. To me, an old buy area there, that 190 level, and it's been getting support here for a long, long time at around 178. And I thought it would come down to 178 or 176, which is the 200 SMA, but it didn't make it down there today. And so on the weekly, this seems like real strong support here. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you can see the daily range here where it traded lower at the open. And then, buyers came in right away. The first 10 minutes, it made a high of 190.45. So in that 10 minutes, it showed you its entire daily range for the day. It just kind of traded flat. Towards the end of the day, it made a push to 190 and then pulled back. But this is definitely one to watch. I'm definitely interested in this stock. Jensen Huang at his conference call cited Snowflake is one of these software names that is a gold mine in his words. And for them to be getting a 20% haircut there, I think this is a real opportunity here. And if you, okay, here's the 200 here. So this is where I thought it was going to come down to the 200, which was 176. You know, I showed the support at 178. So anywhere between 180 and 176. You know, I thought it was going to come down to that level, and it kind of did. You know, this is an art, not a science. You're not going to get exact numbers here, but you know, and it started trickling up the entire day, and it closed near the high of the daily range, 78% of the daily range. I'm thinking this is going to be a lot like Palo Alto, where it's a good trade from. You know, I know some of us on MC Stock Charts got in this one today, and if it just trades back up to 200. That's a good trade, you know, for a swing trader. If you want to hold this thing longer term, I think that's a good idea as well. It just depends on your tolerance, your time frames, but this is a gift in my opinion, this sell off. Anyway, that's enough of that. Giga Cloud Technology. I keep showing this one because I like it. And I said, oh, you know, I've got golfing buddies who own this thing, and they give me a hard time every day. You got to buy it, you got to buy it, you're missing out, blah, blah, blah. But I hate these 25% moves lower, right? Yeah, you know, then it had a 5, 7, 12. The other day it had a 25% move lower. So you know what I do? I just buy it. I buy a small lot. And so when they give me a hard time, I say, oh, I own it too. So they can stop harassing me. I just say, shut the heck up. I own it too. So now they stop bothering me because I can say I own it. But one thing to note on this stock here is just the you know, the higher lows. Besides this, you got to put your thumbprint over that, but it is making higher lows, and today made a higher high. So you know, that's the definition of an uptrend: higher lows and higher highs. So Giga Cloud Technology, like I said, I listened to the presentation. Very impressive. Right now, it's getting a little extended. You know, I shouldn't be buying it here, but I just put it in there to shut them up. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, I got to get to the Bitcoin stocks. Mara was one that you know, this is what I thought would happen into earnings. I had this, you know, making a new high into earnings and just pulled back to a moving average, down 16%. That kind of hurts, but you know, went from 14 to, you know, 34. So you know, pullbacks expected. That's why you got to be careful of stocks that are extended and making new highs into earnings, because there's profit takers out there. MSTR, you know, somebody mentioned, you know, I said this is gappy. They said, of course it's gappy because it trades 24/7, 365. And that's why people like Bitcoin. This stock doesn't, but Bitcoin does. So when Bitcoin jumps, you know, 10% or 5% overnight, this stock's going to jump higher. It's kind of like the ADRs that trade overseas, and then they open up higher or lower based on their overseas trading. Same concept with you know, MicroStrategy. This is a, you know, real gappy stock, and we like stocks that are going higher. Today it pierced 1,022, so very nice close there. You know, what can you say? This thing, it looks like SMCI from a few weeks ago. What was the other one? Oh, CLSK. Some people got caught in this one. Had this nice run up and then pull back the last couple of days, but really it's just coming back to moving averages, and just, you know, it's a strong stock. But this is what happens. There's profit takers out there. Yeah, it's still up for the week, but you know, if you bought it earlier in the week, you're underwater now on a stock that's higher in the week, and that's the danger of buying stocks, you know, that are extended and chasing performance. But you can see it's bounced off its 10 EMA many times in the past, so it'll probably do that again. The last one I wanted to show, just the Bitcoin ETF. You don't want to have exposure to the miners, or, you know, this just trades with the price of Bitcoin. So I just wanted to show that Bitcoin has been really strong. Okay, let's get to my favorite topic, the retail stocks. This is the Academy. I had this one on my ready list. And like I said, a lot of these ready list stocks are just getting extended here. We've had a hell of a month and a good week here at MC Stock Charts. And if you've gotten these things, the ASO has been really strong. So congrats to the longs. That's getting into profit-taking zone there. Nice move for Academy. ELF, of course, has been a monster. Tell my friends on the golf course, I just look at the portfolio on my iPhone. I just look at ELF, and if ELF is green, I know I'm having a good day because I'm a little heavy in the ELF. But you know, since they had their presentation at the consumer agents group of New York last week, same presentation they gave at the conference call, but there's more, you know, people interested there. But you know, there's been a lot of upgrades since they did that. That was last Friday, I believe, the 23rd. Yeah, and it was up 1%. And then they came in Monday, up 7%, 1.2%, 1.3%, 1.8%. So there's just a lot of buying. This is a great story, great company. You know, they got earnings and sales growth, new products, new regions, blah, blah, blah. Great company. Celsius, same thing as ELF, you know, they got new regions, they're expanding internationally, they got new products, they're always coming up with new flavors. They're going from, gosh, I want to say hydration to energy. I don't know. I don't follow it that closely, but we've had this on our ready list for a long time. I think it was down at 54, you know, when it broke above this, you know, moving averages. And then I put it on again at 62.99, I believe. And you know, I hope you guys got this one. Holding into earnings is scary. You know, they reported, somebody leaked it last night, and it was down early this morning, and then it got halted. It was halted early this morning just for a little bit. And then, wow, that's a nice day. Yeah, a lot of demand for Celsius, a 20% mover with volume. That is a move not to be ignored. So congrats to the longs there at Celsius. Okay, I'm going to get into some of the other types of retail names. Birkenstocks reported. Street didn't like it, but you know, it just came down to its 50. It's an IPO, so you know, you got to give it a little bit of a break. You know, they've got solid 26% revenue growth, so not bad. That's an old time company, so not bad for Birkenstocks and Crocs. I like Crocs. The looks of Crocs since it broke out of this stage one base here. It's shown real strength there. There's your earnings breakout and just a pullback to a moving average and now trading higher. That's a thing of beauty right there. Crocs looks really good. ON, this is one that's on our ready list as well. I had it a little earlier. I think it was 31.96 was our buy point, but you know, the paint by numbers buy point is 37.08. They report, you know, pretty soon here, and I imagine that they're going to have pretty strong numbers, you know, just based on the, you know, the Hoka numbers, just the shoe numbers that are coming in general. The, you know, consumer's pretty strong out there. And this is your Christmas quarter, I believe they're reporting. So should be a good number for ON. All right, I got to get to the food. The retail restaurant names. Shake Shack having no problem with that 100 level going through it, you know, like a hot knife through butter. This is exactly what you want to see on a gap higher, just a little bit of profit taking, and then the buyers come back in and take control of that stock. That thing is a thing of beauty. CAVA, I'm going to put this thing on our ready list. IPO name, oh boy, it's getting a little bit away from us, isn't it? Yeah, maybe not. Man, that thing, nice IPO base, pulled back to a moving average, and it's just ramped higher. I have it on our watch list, but I didn't highlight it on the ready list. So anyway, that's gone. Another one that's gone. Geez. I'm not gonna have anything on the ready list tomorrow. Chipotle Mexican Grill. Yeah, another $17 move today. The gap higher in earnings, pull back to moving average. That's a thing of beauty for the Chipotle and Wing. Wing has wings. This thing's flying away. Um, just a phenomenal stock. And you know, the restaurant stocks are hot. What can I say? Okay, a couple more of these data center construction plays. This is another one, thing of beauty here on Sterling Infrastructure. Had this big day, then was downgraded. The downgrade worked. It pulled back for a day, and now it's resuming its uptrend, up 0.5% today. So definitely one to watch. Fix is another one. Blasted higher in earnings. Now this is extended here out of this base. It moves higher out of the base, but man, it doesn't care. It's just going higher, and went through 300 there, like you know what, through a goose. So good for Fix. Dreamfinder Home. This is one that was on our ready list. They reported earnings just blasted higher, 13% with volume. You know that I can't put. You know that one's. Congrats to the longs. You can't chase that performance there because you're going to get shaken out on a pullback on a Friday. And then Lennar Lenny, I had this one at 50, you know, an early entry, then I had it again at 156, and now it's starting to pull away. But I would still say that's actionable. And that's it for me today. Thank you for watching, except for I lie. I have one more thing. We have some business to tend to after hours. I'm going to start with Dell. So in honor of the great Steve Jobs, one more thing. Dell's earnings report. I did catch some of the data from here. Great report. They did say, well, now I forget. Darn it. Anyway, oh, it was HP that was having problems getting the NVIDIA chips. And Dell's not having that problem, I guess, or SMCI, so it pays to be friends with Jensen, I guess. I don't know, but HP had problems and Dell did not. So this one had a nice report, beat and raise up 15%. I'd mentioned HPE, and that's down 2%. They just missed because they didn't have the supply. There's still a supply issue for them, allegedly. So you have to take them at face value. Couple stocks that I have interested in, and is Zscaler. This one beat, they beat handily. Earnings and revenues, I believe they guided higher. I didn't really get a lot of color on this report, but it just pulled back with Palo Alto Networks report, then ramped higher. And I don't think Zscaler and CrowdStrike are going to be talking about fatigue like Palo Alto did, but this is an expensive stock, and it's had a nice run. So a sell-off tomorrow, what is it, 223? Yeah, down to the 50, could be a buy there. So we'll have to wait and see on Zscaler. But all these companies can do is report good reports, and if they're up a lot, there's going to be some profit taking. So I wouldn't worry too much about after hours action. It can actually provide some some opportunities. This is Elastic. They reported a strong quarter as well. I think people are getting spoiled. They're going to blow it out every time and go up 30% like it did last time. But all this thing is doing is it's coming back to this old buy point there at 118. This is another strong quarter. What is it after hours? 115. So that might be an area of interest tomorrow. I mean, if you like buying on a Friday, Super Lotto Friday, the 50 is 119 there. So that coincides with the 118 old buy point. So Elastic is definitely one to watch tomorrow. Like I said, all these companies can do is report strong numbers, and they did. I looked at that report. It was fine. I believe they have accelerating sales growth. It was 17, 17, 17, and this time it was 19. So that's what you want to see, accelerating sales growth from these younger companies. What was the other one? Oh, Autodesk. Autodesk is a one of these software design stocks like Cadence and Synopsys. And, this is good for the semiconductor group. This one's up 7%. And I think that could be why AMD is, still up after hours, and NVIDIA. The semi is probably going to be strong again tomorrow. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. I'm going to cobble together a ready list and see what happens for tomorrow morning. I'll be back with a report. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.